Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Welcome to Before the Bat, the Gotham podcast, your guide to the TV show Gotham and all things Batman. I am Phil, and with me is Kelly.
Hey!
And Tyler.
What's up?
And our special guest, who you could hear me with on Super Connectivity podcast and the all-new Marvel Roundup podcast every week, Mr. Charlie Esser.
Hello!
Hey, Charlie.
Woohoo!
Hey, good to be here.
Our
I have
biggest,
been loving your podcast and this show, so
yes, I was going to say our biggest fan.
very
Yeah.
much so.
Our biggest fan. Yes.
So, by gross tonnage, anyway.
Oh,
Oh,
ouch!
see, I just meant that you tell me every week because
Yes.
you have a lot of theories about this show.
Oh,
Theories
I
are
do.
good.
That's
And that's
I
what I'm
actually came
excited
up with
for.
a new one today.
Oh, what? You have a new theory?
Well, it was just because I was thinking about how creepy Barbara is, and
Yeah.
You and Tyler are going to get along fine.
well,
Could have
no,
been a purpose.
she really creeped out this episode. I mean, this was like, okay, someone needs to call Dyfus right now because she was or Gotham CPS. But I was thinking, okay, she's a very strange person. I'm pretty much convinced she's not going to be Batgirl's mother, because I just don't know how you come from everything to where she at to this. I was thinking, well, one thing they could do with her, if they push her just a little bit more over the edge, she could become Batwoman.
Yeah, I mean this
yeah.
this universe is acceptable for different things, but how old will she be? Because you can't have Batwoman before Batman.
Well,
See, my theory is Barbara's gonna get pregnant from Jim in a drunken one night stand. Jim's DNA is much stronger, so it overpowers Barbara's, and then Barbara dies in childbirth, and Jim raises Babs. We'll just call her
And then
Babs.
there's
Her.
rich grandparents to help out too, of course.
yeah, that's
No, they disown her.
information.
They disown her. So, Jim just raises her on his own, and that's why we get awesome Batgirl. Boom. Lawyered.
Well, did they ever actually had Batgirl, Barbara Gordon's mother in the comics?
Yeah.
They did?
I know in the New 52 they touched on it because after James Jr. they revealed him to be such a sociopath, and they sent him away. Jim and his wife split, and it's all convoluted, but if you read, was it right before the death of the family, or right after the death of the family, where Barbara thinks she kills James Jr., her mom's there in more recent comics, so they touch on her sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes even depending on who's telling the story, sometimes she's his daughter, sometimes it's like his niece who he adopts.
Well, that was because
that
of
was
Batman
way
Year
back.
One. They because basically they made Gordon's wife pregnant with Barbara in Batman Year One, and someone realized, oh, that would make Batman like 70 when Batgirl shows up. So they realized they had to fix that, and so they made that Jim Jr. or something, and then they just had Batgirl be Gordon's niece.
They could have just had it like, oh, Jim had an affair earlier in his
Or
life.
had another daughter
That's-
later on, or well, yeah,
that he
well,
didn't
that
know
might be a
about.
little-
Or they could have pulled an Oliver
Yeah.
Queen.
Exactly.
Had
He
the
could-
kid from a long time ago that he didn't know about.
Exactly. Right out of college. Right before college. He had the kid, didn't know about it, boom, she shows up. Boom, Batgirl.
There you go. They may yet do that. Who knows?
Solomon agrees.
So what's this one line you have, Kelly?
Well, I had to come up with some kind of summary for the episode, and it just, the mom line came to me, it's all fun and games until somebody pokes an eye out.
Oh, jeez.
And it was.
I don't think it was
fun.
very much fun in games.
Till they think,
And-
or
Then it was just fun.
Did you guys notice in the administrator's office, well, not the administrator, but the doctor guy's office, if you look behind Fish Mooney, it looks like in the peeling paint, it looks like there's a picture of a man, his head, on the wall behind her.
I don't know if I noticed that.
I didn't know.
Can
I
we
didn't
call
notice
her-
it until the rewatch. I rewatched it, and actually, I paused it, and that's what I'm looking at right now. And it almost looks like Benedict Cumberbatch. His head. You see eyes, hair, part of a mouth. Some of the paint's peeled, but you can definitely see those features, and it's
Well,
big.
Is it a picture of a head or just a
No,
head?
just the
Because there
paint
are body parts
peeling.
all around that office.
No, it's just the paint peeling off the wall in a pattern
Oh.
that looks like a head, a giant head.
Ah,
Can we just
It's
start
really
calling her
weird.
Mad Eye Mooney?
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
Jeez.
well,
Mad Eye Mooney, the one-eyed fish. Fish eye.
there you go.
But
Look down.
I guess she's just lucky that they just wanted her eyes. I mean, what if the guy would have said, yeah, we want you for a heart transplant?
Yeah.
I was hoping when she did that, he screamed and she's like, ha ha. Then he just stabbed her, and she just let her bleed to death.
Well,
That's what you
they
get, fish.
probably could do that still. I mean, and that was kind of his point is, we can kill you or we can take your eyes and put you back in this cell just to be evil. And she takes out her eye and it's like, okay, well, I guess now we'll just kill you.
Got the
I
fish.
think they
Got
should
the
be like, now we're
fish.
just going to take your hand. Yeah, I'm cool with gutting the fish. Just take her hand off.
I like fish, so I'm really sad. Well, I don't think she's going to go because, quite frankly, she is, honestly, I'm going to say she's one of the best things about this series. I don't care if you disagree. Because she is literally the architect of what's going on in Gotham. She is the crazy that inspires all the other crazy that's eventually going to give birth to Batman.
Yeah, but as one of the only original characters, I mean, I don't know how long her lifespan's going to be.
Well, at least until her husband's done doing Suicide Squad. No, but no, I really like what she's done with the character, and I think that bringing the crazy is what this show really needs, and she brought it last night. And not just the very bad Jack Nicholson impression in the blind fortune teller, but just really let's completely step outside of the bonds of reality crazy that gives us, Batman's rogues gallery and Batman himself. Because they are all just completely, to the wall crazy. I mean, that is the crux of Batman and his gallery is they are, whereas, when your villains are intentionally leaving clues to help you find them, that's crazy. And how often is that just a trait of Batman's villains? They want Batman to find them because they're crazy enough that this is just a game to them. This is just, we have to play this game because we are in this nonsensical, insane world with doll makers and Riddlers and Jokers, and the fish is just the first of them all. She's the mama of the crazy.
I like that. The fish.
Mama the Crazy, I like that.
Yeah.
That's her name, Mama Crazy. Mama Crazy.
But speaking of crazy, I don't think we even mentioned the main story yet, the Red Hood.
Oh yeah, well that was.
Yeah.
Well, here's what was great about that, in my opinion, is that they have the first Red Hood jump up, and he's joking and he's laughing. You're thinking, oh, they're giving us another Joker, and then they shoot him because he's not the Joker. And
Oh yeah, I don't think they want to bring in the Joker, but I think that people like it when they tease it, so it's always like, oh, this could be the Joker, this could be the Joker.
See, I love that. I love that they tease it to where it makes people debate and argue. No, man, that's the real Joker. Because I don't like them being point blank like that's him right there.
Well, I kind of think what they might be doing here is just running through Jokers. And like I said, the guy in the Black Killer, he was doing a Jack Nicholson. So that was Jack Nicholson's Joker. And this guy, you start with the bank robbery, so it's very much the Dark Knight Joker. And, I'm just waiting for a guy with a mustache to do something that makes people think that he's Joker, and they go, oh, it's Cesar Romero. But I get the feeling they're running through these origins of the Joker and these concepts of the Joker to give us these ideas. Like in the very first episode, where you have the purple suit telling the bad jokes, who was again back in this, or at least another bad stand-up comedian doing jokes in this last episode, and that is the Joker's origin from the cartoon. What was that cartoon Batman in the 90s?
What, the animated series?
Yeah, Batman the animated series. That was a strong part of the Joker's origin, was that he was a failed stand-up comic. And was always trying to get recognized as a stand-up comic and couldn't do it because he just wasn't that funny.
Yeah, there's like 50 million different origins for the Joker.
Was it Chucky Rimsh? Something that he used as like an alias when he tried to do the Gotham laugh thing.
Yeah, I think it was Chucky Rimshot.
Yeah.
And then we had Jerome last week.
Yeah. I think the Joker's on us. I mean, I think it's the writers having fun with the audience. Just to see what they can stir up.
Well, I think it's a ratings grab, too. They're trying to get people to tune in.
Sure.
I mean, like I said last time about the blind fortune teller, the marketing said it's no joke. Okay? And to me, I'm kind of reading it as, it's like saying, hey, it's no Joker, but you're going to think it is because you see a guy with a smile and it says joke.
Yes. Well, and they had him, in the audience's defense, they did have him do Joker, they did have him, like I said, play to that Joker character. And, like I said, I feel they did cast him because he did have a slight resemblance to Jack Nicholson and the Jack Nicholson smile and the eyes and all that stuff. So I think it's a fair cop for people to wonder, oh, who is that? Except that, of course, what I'd say the one selling point you could say to that is I don't think there's ever been a Joker origin that had him as the son of a blind fortune teller who killed his snake handler mom. So that's like, and for whatever it's worth, he's also still theoretically alive right now.
Yep. The Red Hood thing. I mean, technically, if you look at it, where the Joker's the Red Hood, he wasn't a gang member. He was a front as the leader. Yeah, well, there was multiple Red Hoods. He was used by the criminals, and it wasn't until the New 52 that they established more of the Red Hood complete gang, where they teased that maybe the leader was the Joker.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I have to ask. You guys know all about the comic books, and I'm wonderfully, well, not so wonderfully sometimes ignorant. The whole Red Hood thing. What is it with the guy thinking that when he wears it he's bulletproof? I don't get that.
They were just crazy because, like, even at the one point when the one was like telling the guy who had the hood at the time, he's like, "Give it to me, I need it." I'm like, this one, even on the show, this is it's a cloth mask with 2 holes in it. Why can't you just go down to the store and get another cloth?
And he obviously cut it with scissors. So
it wasn't even that good of a hood.
No.
That's the easiest cosplay ever this year.
But it worked because his stammering stopped as soon as he put it on. And that
the power. The
guy had this massive stammering. He can't talk. And then as soon as he has it, he can speak clearly. He has the confidence to be the leader then, because the madness is infectious. The madness is in the city.
Well, and the anonymity, I think, too. Nobody can see who he is now.
Well, not only can they not see who he is, but they also see him as the symbol.
Yeah.
There are certain comic book lines that you look for in these shows. With Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. Right. In Batman, it's criminals are a cowardly and superstitious lot. And I'm waiting for someone to tell Bruce that, or for him to say it himself, because to me that's the Batman line. That is the explanation and definition of the character. And here where you get them being cowardly and superstitious. They're hiding and they're believing in this magic hood. And then, of course, at the end, someone picks up the hood to continue on the power of the Red Hood, because now it's a legend, now it's a myth, and it's bigger than just some guys knocking over banks to start a bakery.
They even said like that this gang could go on forever.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just,
Well, I thought that was the whole point of the end of the episode, where like, the kid picks up the hood and it's just going to keep making its way down the circuit till eventually it gets to the Joker.
And how bad are the cops in Gotham that they just leave a piece of evidence like that lying on the street?
Yeah, I know. That was my thought. I was like, wait a minute. That was like the major piece of evidence in the whole, the whole episode. And
Well, that and the 3 dead bodies.
Yeah, but I mean.
But yeah, they're not good cops. We know Bullock is not a good cop. He never winds up being a good cop.
Did you notice the thing with his glasses this week too? Like,
who? Oh, Bullock?
Yeah. He holds the glasses up to the monitor to try to see. Did you notice? Okay, I learned something new in the last couple weeks. Statistically, if you're over 40, you probably have bifocals. Just statistically, the population. Those weren't bifocals.
No.
No.
Well, they might just be standard reading glasses. The point of bifocals is if you have two different eyesight problems, you have problems seeing far and near.
Yeah, but they say statistically, I was just at the eye doctor, and statistically, once you're after 40, the percentage of people that have to have bifocals just goes through the roof because of the how aging affects the eye. I just thought it was interesting. He doesn't just wear them reading; he seems to wear them, pretty frequently. But I noticed the whole lens was the same. I just thought it was kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if Donald Logue wears glasses, so they might have just been prop glasses that he wears, so that you're not going to see the line in it. And they also could be Invisalign bifocals.
Well, I'm aware, but no, I'm saying the magnification was the same throughout the eye when you looked at the screen.
Okay, so maybe his eyes are just universally bad. That's how my glasses are. I mean, I can't see near, far, or anything. So
I'm back.
Yeah, you dropped out. We got Tyler back.
Yay. Okay.
Welcome back, Tyler.
We're talking about Bullock being nearsighted.
Riveting stuff.
All right, let's keep it going.
So, but yeah, I mean, what was it, Charlie? Were you saying about how creepy Barbara was before?
Yeah, what is with her macking on Catwoman? That's like,
yeah,
dude, she's like 13, if that. You don't.
I'm just like,
you don't get all uncomfortably close with that girl. I don't care how drunk you are at 2 p.m.
I think she's just looking for a friend because no one else wants to be her friend.
She's a codependent nightmare.
But that's not how you get someone to be your friend. You don't get someone to be your friend by saying, "Hey, you're hot."
Yeah, it's 13.
That's. I know I've been people's friends. Not very rarely does it start with, "Hey, you're a hot piece of, 13-year-old girl." No, that's not how friendships start.
What? No one comes up to you, tells you how hot you are, Charlie?
No, but that's how friendship starts. I'm pretty sad. Like, man, do I have any friends?
But no,
I don't know if I have any real friends now.
And of course, Catwoman, she lives on the street. She's used to drunken middle-aged women coming up to her and telling her how pretty she is and would she'd like to come back to her apartment. She knows that doesn't end well. So you're here for Catwoman for shutting that down. But makes you feel sorry for the actress playing Barbara because, they're not giving that poor girl anything to work with.
Oh, I know.
No likability in this character. I mean,
they give her I don't know, like 1 or 2 episodes, and then it seems like she's like on a break for a couple, 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah,
even Montoya, couldn't stand her. So, although again, more evidence that she could be Batwoman because if Montoya becomes the question, then she dates Batwoman and it all connects.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'd love to see that. I'd love to see Montoya become the question in this. I think that would be a great justice,
Yeah, I think she should be like the I don't know, like the original vigilante, mass vigilante maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the idea,
That'd be interesting. Yeah, but I don't know about Barbara
No, I don't.
Batwoman. She seems kind of short even too. I don't know if she's.
Yeah. Well, they can do anything with the camera, you know.
Yeah, it's true. Isn't that the rumor? I've heard rumors that like Tom Cruise like either stands on like crates when he's acting with people, or like they dig a hole and make the people stand in the hole.
Two and a
Tom
half
Cruise
feet
looks-
tall. He's very short. No. Actually, I think he's like 5'4", which makes him like it makes him like the same height as the average woman. Although most actresses are like 5'6", 5'8", you know. So he's actually shorter than most actresses. So they do have to stand him up on stuff. So
Oh, jeez.
he's handsome, so that goes in his favor. You know, I mean, there's worse things you can be than a short man.
Hey,
He'd be like 5.5 inches shorter than me. That's kind of scary.
At 5'4"?
Uh-huh.
Oh, so
You
you're
could
5'9"
crush
and a half.
Tom
Yeah, we're
Cruise.
like,
Uh-huh.
yeah. But the average woman's about 5'4", I think.
Yeah.
The average man is like
Kelly's-
5'11", and the
I
average
know.
woman's about...
I'm an Amazon.
Kelly's
Good for
more
you.
than average.
you guys are crazy. Crazy, I tell you.
I mean, everyone in
I'm
comic
pretty
books is
fine.
like 6'2", 6'6", you know, except for Wolverine.
He's
still
5'1".
And I think they ever since Hugh Jackman took that Wolverine role, I think they've been in the comics. They've been, subtly making Wolverine taller.
Yeah.
See, bring the Marvel Man on the podcast.
They
you know?
slowly, every time they draw Wolverine just slightly taller until people start to realize, wait a minute, in this issue he was only this tall. Now look at him.
Well, that's why they gave him that big hair, you know. They have the big hair, and then they started shortening the hair and making him taller. So that's how you don't notice it.
See, that's who they should have got for Wolverine originally back in 2000. Tom Cruise.
There you go.
He would have freaked everyone out with the center tooth, but that's a whole nother story.
Oh, jeez.
All
right, let's get back to.
Yeah, let's get back to this. Is the DC podcast, right? Yes.
Yeah. All right.
So who saw
What
Teen
everybody
Titans Go this week? No.
Not me. I sadly, I get it. It works for little kids, but not for me. It makes me sad because there's no Young Justice. Just going to say that.
But they were
And
honest. They did the big crossover Teen Titans Go, Young Justice Teen Titans Go crossover. It was great.
yeah, but I don't know.
Solo likes it.
Yeah, it does. That's what I'm saying. It's for the little kids. You know, Solo enjoys it when he's sitting there eating his bottle. So yeah, I can't blame him. But
Yeah.
it's not for
I'll
Daddy
put it
by
on
himself.
Yeah, I'll put it on for Luca. Luca will watch it sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. So, what did everyone think about the Penguin and Butch?
You know what? I think I would like for Butch to just be there on Penguin's side and do things right. Like, I really think Oswald needs to start to move up in things. Because I feel like we've already established that he grasps for more than he can handle and things go bad. So I need to see him actually pull some things off.
Well, it's nice to see that. It's nice to see that Butch isn't like Lenny in this. You know, he's still Butch. He's still got his faculties about him. And whatever happened with Zazzles, it's not going to change who he is as a character. He's like not going to defend Fish, or he's going to be loyal to Falcone, because he was always relatively loyal to Falcone. He was working with one of Falcone's lieutenants. They made a move. It went south. Hey, he's just the guy. He doesn't need to, go into it, So again, Falcone shows mercy. Probably not Falcone's greatest trait in all of this, to be honest with you, because it seems like he shows mercy and it winds up bringing enemies of his closer. Because again, this is the second Fish lieutenant who he spared when Fish is still alive. So when Fish comes back and, does Butch betray her, or does Butch stand by her? Does Penguin see Fish's return as more evidence that Falcone has to be out and goes along with Fish in her plot, because that's the thing.
Butch goes
Even
crazy
though it
and
makes
kills
every
Fish.
sense, well, no one's gonna kill Fish. That's the thing,
If she dies on this episode, I swear I'll laugh and I will message you.
Oh, please do. And I've been wrong about stuff before. Let's not even get into the Atlanteans right now. But I've been wrong about a lot of stuff in my life. But, here's the thing. Fish is, first off, she's a name actress. She's really one of the maybe a lot of comic book guys don't like her, but I think a lot of the critics are, and I think a lot of the general fans of the show like her. And quite frankly, she's the last interesting female on the show. So I don't think they can really kill. I don't think they can really kill her because, unless they're going to up Catwoman or bring back Montoya or redeem Barbara, they have a lot of women, but they're all kind of really like at best oatmeal characters. They're just not really anything you can sink your teeth into. Fish is someone you can sink your teeth into. And,
what about Dr. Tompkins?
Oh, Dr. Tompkins. Yeah, she's there. They're not giving her very much yet, except for having her be the impetus to go to the circus.
But see, I don't know. I think you might have made the case for Fish is going to get killed because, like I said, she's an original character, so she's not going to be around forever. Plus, like you said, Jada Pinkett Smith is a big name, so I mean, if they're paying her a ton of money, they might not want to pay her a ton of money forever.
Yeah, well, she's not that big a name, but she's a big enough name to look nice in your credit. But it's possible they could kill her. They could certainly kill her. Although I think it would be a very ignoble death at this point because it really just puts her at the lowest point and then kills her, and you could have done that at so many points in the story. I think that once you take out an eye and you have her come in as, all Nick Fury'd out there, I think that her survival skills are gonna carry her through. Here's the thing. If she makes it to the next episode, she's gonna live. Because there's no logical reason for what she did to have worked except for the fact that, the villain become intrigued by her and are going to keep her alive because there's something about this girl that they need to not destroy. Because really, they have every reason to just say, okay, we're going to kill you, we're going to wipe out the cells, and we'll start over tomorrow. It's a cost, but it's something we can manage. We've done it before, we'll do it again. But now they let her live, it's like, well, I guess we're going to have to, deal with you and because you're interesting to us and you have value to us, and so we're going to move forward from there. But just to.
Do you guys medically think she'd live through that?
I'm not a doctor. I don't know.
Well, yeah, you can gouge out your eye and be fine. I mean, not be fine. You're going to go into shock, and they're obviously going to have to treat her because that's going to get infected real fast. But
will they treat her? You know what I'm saying? I mean, look where she is. Will they treat her?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If she makes it to the next episode, she's going to live. Because there's no reason for her to live through that except that they decided not to kill her. They made a decision not to kill her because they've decided there might be something worthwhile in keeping her around. The Dr. Dolmacher may decide that which I didn't catch who that was at first. Because they pronounced it that way. Mike decided that there's something that he wants with this woman. Wants to, she's her ideal. They may give her a new eye out of compensation. You can have like the two different color eyes there.
That would be
interesting.
interesting.
There's her creepy factor.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out like which version of the doll maker they might be going with.
Well, they did artist rendering of him on Comic Book Resources today. They released some promo art for it, and he's got like he kind of looks like Two-Face, to be honest with you. He's got like half of his face kind of tore up, and it's kind of greenish, and yeah.
Could be the comic book version who cuts the Joker's face off.
Yeah, that's like doll maker number 3.
Yeah. Well, if that's the most recent, then that tends to be what they like to go for in these kinds of things. They go with your more recent interpretations rather than the more classic ones. Although they can pull out the classics on occasion too,
Yeah. Plus they had a version on Arrow also.
Yep.
Oh.
Yes, they did.
Yep.
Because DC doesn't care.
That's the one thing that's just going to be weird is with all these DC shows is, like we said earlier about Slade Wilson and stuff, is when we start getting these other versions of the same villains like at the same time on different shows.
Well, but what's weird is that the Flash, Arrow, and now they're going to do a third show, which is going to be like, I guess, sort of mini Justice League with Black Canary and Atom and some other some.
We don't know if it's Black Canary. We know it's Kate Loates, but we don't know what character she's playing yet. That's what I read.
Well, they had she had black stuff on her face, so I'm guessing she was like the black circles on her eyes. So I'm guessing she was supposed to be some sort of superhero. and of course Firestorm as your Superman pastiche. So they've got a pretty high-powered super team there that they're going to get their new third show in that Arrow Flash universe. Which just makes it weird to have, and then we're going to have the movie universe and then the Gotham universe. What I would like them to do, I would like them to have one episode where they put Gordon and, because I don't know who plays Gordon, and Bullock, who's, Logue, in old man makeup, and they have them, do an episode where they go to Gotham, and they meet old Bullock and Commissioner Gordon, That would be awesome.
Ben McKenzie in a gray mustache.
Yeah, that would be cool. You have them, and they we have to go to Gotham, and they meet, and they can have you don't have Batman, but you just have the rumors of the Batman, and they never meet him, but you can have Daniel Logue and Mackenzie as in their old man makeups and be their future selves, so you can say, okay, so this is tied in, this is the near future, of that Flash and Arrow live in the near future, and then we can have these characters come in there, Then you can have a nice connected CW Fox universe there.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like they're turning Oliver Queen into Bruce Wayne now instead.
Well, that's what they did. Well, yeah, because thank you Smallville for actually making the Green Arrow an interesting character, because they did that because they couldn't get Batman for Smallville. So they said, who's the closest ripoff of Batman? Well, they said Green Arrow. So okay, so we'll put Green Arrow in there.
It's also smart. In the sense, if you have your two number ones, that's great. But you already have one of your number ones. Why not use a smaller character and build that character up?
Well, yeah,
it would be better than trying to force the other big character.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing, and that's what that's what DC has. They sort of did their Iron Man with Green Arrow, where they made Green Arrow into an interesting character and built him up to where he could hold his own series and build out from a series. But they're just sort of ignoring that because they say, well, yeah, Green Arrow, but he's no... Because, you could theoretically build out that Green Arrow Flash universe into a real cohesive DC universe without your big, without your X-Men and Spider-Man, Spider-Man or Superman and Batman. But they still own Batman and Superman, so they want to do something with them too. And I guess they feel if they put if they bring Superman and Batman into the Green Arrow universe, it diminishes those brands, but it's going to diminish their brands to have Flash running around in the Justice League film too. So, oh well, it's their billions of dollars. I guess they can spend it however they want.
All right, so what else haven't we hit above this episode?
Let's see. Creepy Barbara, Fish's Eye, the Penguin, the Red Hood Gang.
Wait a minute, what about Alfred's friend?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I want to say this before anyone else does. I had a thought to myself, and what if Reggie was the one that killed the Waynes? Before the end scene, though. It was when he talked about taking jobs he wasn't proud of. I was like, what if he's the one that killed the Waynes?
Well, that would make sense since he's under the employ of Wayne Enterprises and, they're trying to remove the obstacles to what they're trying to do. So it makes sense that if anyone's going to have killed the Waynes, the corrupt board members of Wayne Enterprises had the most to gain by killing the Waynes.
Exactly. I like the idea because he's close to Alfred. It kind of ties it back around that this ex-friend of Alfred's. So I think it makes it even more.
It certainly works with the ideas. The only, it's a problem that I have just with Batman Origins in general, and this desire to make Batman, to me, it always, that Batman's parents die because of a random act of violence explains why he fights street-level criminals. Because that's the only way you can prevent random acts of violence is fighting street-level criminals. If his parents' death was the result of a conspiratorial effort, either by Ra's al Ghul as in the Batman movies, which, or if it is Wayne Enterprises, I think that, or even just the mob manipulations of Chase Mooney, I think that takes away from why Batman does what he does, and it makes him into a bigger hero than Batman wants to be. Batman wants to be a street level hero. He wants to be fighting Gotham, keeping Gotham safe from the lunatics and the madmen. And, but people want to tie it to something bigger. They want it to be this grander arc. But in the end, what makes the character strong, I think, is that you tie superheroes to... I've always thought that superheroes should have a factor of randomness in their origin. That something or uncontrolled makes them what they are. And if it's not something random, if it's something more conspiratorial or something more structured, I think that it takes away from what makes that hero a hero.
And I agree with that completely.
Plus, I think it's more realistic too if he never finds out who killed his parents.
Yeah. Well, never finding out is fine, and that's what works with the Dark Knight series, is that he doesn't find out because he thinks it's random criminals until he becomes Batman and he finds out, oh my goodness, it was this whole conspiracy all along. It was
still kind of happenstance, though. I mean, it was a conspiracy, but it was still kind of happenstance. The idea was just to make Gotham poor, and then because they're poor, crime rate increased, and they just happened to get killed because of it.
Oh,
so it's still it's still that
Ra's al Ghul wanted to intentionally kill the Waynes because they were trying to reverse the degradation that Ra's al Ghul was engineering in that.
Wait a minute. You mean Ra's al Ghul's a Batman villain?
See, I never thought of it like that because they talked about the Wayne's murders, what kicked everyone into action to really stop the problem for the time. But I mean, it's a valid theory as well.
It's kind of a chicken and egg kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, in the Dark Knight universe, it always seemed like the Gotham was still in decay by the time Batman shows up.
Yeah. They said it lasted, like they tried, but then they just gave up and it just kept going down. And, I like the idea is like for Gotham, if say, I don't want to say Bullock, but say they introduce another cop who figures out the Wayne murders, and like as soon as he figures it out, like he just turns around and gets shot in the head.
Yeah.
By someone. So like the idea is it never really gets solved.
Yeah. Well, Yeah, well, I mean, of course, the whole thing with Joe Chill, the whole reason why we even have a character that we know is Joe Chill is because, of course, Batman eventually finds out, because he meets Joe Chill and he pieces it together years later. So, I mean, finding out who killed his parents. I mean, really, if they had put in Joe Chill as a character, we would not know who killed Batman's parents. It's just that some writer decided to have a story where Batman decided to rip off that Band-Aid, and then, of course, they just don't really do much with it after that because they killed Joe Chill, and it's not like he becomes a villain. He just was a low-level mob. He just worked his way up to be a low-level mob boss, I mean, honestly...
He's no Tony Zuko.
Yeah. Who might make sense in this is, from what we've seen so far, is if you are going to have one of the established characters be it, would probably be that it was the Penguin, and that's just based on the fact that what Bruce remembered was how shiny his shoes were, and the one male we know being super fastidious about stuff is of course the Penguin. But that doesn't, like I said, that doesn't meet the description that Kat gave, although she may have also been lying that she ever saw the guy's face. So
I love your theory that it's Butch.
Yeah, well, I
always thought Butch was a good one.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. I mean, I think it's, and just because, Fish I mean, I could see Fish doing that expressly because it instills the chaos. And that was, and that's what that was Fish's plan all along. Instill enough chaos, and then we can rise to power in the chaos. And in order to instill chaos, you've got to break down the order. And because the order was already breaking down, to accelerate it, then we can be in control of it. It's this... it's your basic chaos magic. If we just increase the chaos, if we decide when the chaos comes in, then we can control the chaos and we can, be in charge of the chaos. And of course that never works out. But, it's still the plan that is most commonly used when you're trying to stage an insurrection like that. So yeah, Butch is the most likely, based on everything we've seen, Butch is the most likely murderer of the Wayne. But, is that what they're going to reveal? Maybe, maybe not. Like I said, I think we might get that maybe, like if they decide to end Gotham at some point, you might have, and I think what they would do is they would just have, Butch say, my name's really Joe, Butch is just a nickname. Or they're gonna, someone's gonna say, hey, it's good to see you again, Joseph. And they say, yeah, hey, everyone calls me Butch now. So, something like that. That's gonna be your wink to the audience, is letting them know that's who killed the Waynes. But I don't think they have to show who killed the Waynes or why the Waynes were killed. They just have to, because of course Batman doesn't know. And I don't think Bruce can ever know, at least not until he becomes Batman. Because I think that if he finds out before he's Batman, it changes his reason for being Batman. He doesn't become Batman if he knows the answer.
He's not driven anymore.
Yeah. Well, he'll be driven to something else, Like right. I said, there's, and that's, that's what I always say is that, if it was a conspiracy and Bruce knows it's a conspiracy, then his goal is to fight conspiracies. If his goal is to fight street crime, he has to presume it's random street crime. And really, honestly, right now, with his piecing of everything together, I think what might really serve it nicely is just to find out that no one ordered it. That he finds out that, he gets down to all these conspiracies and he realizes, these people didn't order my parents' death, that it was just a random act of violence. And it's the randomness that I have to try and defeat, not some great monster, or conspiratorial group like Falcone or any of his henchmen. It's this randomness, this chaos, this madness of the streets that has to be brought into control.
Plus, how messed up is it that the Wayne Enterprises board is plotting to kill a 12-year-old?
Yeah.
Well, are they plotting to kill him, or are they just trying to make it so that he's too distracted to exert any power over them?
I kind of feel like they're going to try to kill him off. I feel like they're going to get to the point they're like, there's nothing else we can do. Like, they can take his evidence and whatever he has, but they're going to have to
he's still only a 12-year-old boy, and we haven't met his lawyer yet. And that's the thing. Whoever his lawyer is, it's probably Wayne Enterprises' legal counsel. So
maybe.
Well, I mean,
maybe he goes after a Mr. Dent.
Well, yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Calls it some favors.
If next episode we get the return of Harvey Dent, then something's going on. Because he's saying, I can't trust Wayne Enterprises lawyers. I need an outside lawyer. And who's the one outside lawyer he knows? The guy who had him killed, or nearly had him get killed. But he knows him. So
how great would that be if Harvey Dent flipped out on the Wayne Enterprises board?
Yes. Yeah. Well, he's got his coin.
I want them to set it up, and I want to see Lucius Fox. That's who I want to see get brought in. Like with this whole we need to clean out the Wayne Enterprises board. Bruce finds somebody he can trust.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's someone at Wayne that he can trust. I'm sure that Alfred will point him in the right direction. But of course, Alfred is, stabbed now. So, and I think that was the point, was to put Bruce in a point where he's too distracted to worry about the board, And right now with because I mean the reality is that Bruce pretty much knows who stabbed Alfred, because he knows who was living at their house at the time, and he knows who's gone. So he's not really that good of a detective if he can't put that together. That Reggie probably stabbed Alfred when he was trying to steal stuff.
Did you guys have the feeling that Reggie may have been trying to hurt Bruce during their sparring?
I just had the feeling that he kind of was freaking Bruce out, because he was so into, I was waiting for him to be like, come on, hit me.
Or I was even getting the opposite thought. I was thinking maybe he's hoping Bruce will hurt him so he doesn't have to go through with it.
See, I actually just took that to be exactly what it seemed like. Two guys with two very different approaches to violence and anger and each trying to give some influence to this young ward, since neither one of them has a son of their own. That's really what it is that this is their chance for these two confirmed bachelors to have this moment with a boy that they can pass on some wisdom to. And, obviously Reggie's a sociopath, although arguably, maybe Alfred's a sociopath too, because they both, were professional murderers at a point in their life. Ralph was just much more controlled about it.
He's a lot
There's
higher
automatic-
functioning.
Yes. Well, many sociopaths are. Bruce Wayne, for example.
Yeah. Hey.
Yes. I once wrote a skit called Gotham CPS about all of the children of the low level criminals that Batman's beating up every day and putting out of work, and how they all become dealing with the post traumatic stress of fearing this bat that attacked their dad or their mom, and I make the point like, they seem to be doing okay, but a lot of them have gotten very obsessed, with riddles or hats or.
All their psychoses.
Yeah, that's what happens, He's a menace, I tell you. But yeah.
So, yeah. Anything else? Anyone?
There's something I was going to say, but I forgot what it was. Yes. Yeah, that's about it. All right. It was a good episode. It was a great episode, and I think it really unleashed the crazy of Gotham City. It made the psychosis so much more palpable throughout the city, and I think now you're going to get a lot more people dressing up to sort of take what they want from the inequality from the income inequality of Gotham, of which of course Bruce is right at the top of it. But it's gonna be so much about people putting on various masks to rob from the rich and keep for themselves, and that is the story of Gotham. And if only there was one lone billionaire who could come put the poor back in their place. Yeah. Okay, so.
Well, I still say I think that's a good note to end on.
Well, the question was an objectivist, and Montoya's out there, so.
That's right.
Yes. She may feel that the rich deserve what they have taken, and will push back against these unwashed masses.
All right.
And that's the Gotham spinoff.
All right, everyone. Let us know what you thought about this episode, especially Charlie's theories. You can email us beforethebat@gmail.com. Facebook, we're Before the Bat, the Gotham Podcast. On Twitter, we're @BeforeTheBatPod. Instagram, BeforeTheBat_FlashArrowPod. Tumblr, BeforeTheBat/FlashArrowPod. And remember, you can always talk to us on the forums. And keep an eye out every week for Tyler and I on World's Finest, the DC Comics review.
Yep.
Woohoo.
And Charlie, thank you for being on this week. What would you like to plug?
Oh, of course, I'd like to plug Super Connectivity on the Nuff Said channel, along with the all-new Marvel Roundup with this great guy named Phil that I do that with. He's fantastic.
Those are great shows.
Yeah.
They are great shows.
And of course, you can follow me at Charlie Esser on Twitter, and you can write me at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com if you want to tell me how wrong I was about everything I said.
And you can hold me, NightwingPDP@gmail.com, or on Twitter @NightwingPDP.
You can find me at JTYPatrick on Twitter, and also you can find me on the Last Daughter of Krypton podcast here on Southgate Media Network.
And I can be found on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and about everywhere else at SuperSquint. That's SuperSquint. You can also listen to me on Quinn Consolidated and Flashpoint podcast with Lilith Hellfire. And I also write for voiceoftv.com.
All right. Well, then, Red Hood Gang, I guess there's only one thing left to say.
Give me that hood.
Bang!
Same bad time, same bad channel.
Enough said.
How dare you, the Gotham Podcast.